Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to this simple space. We're doing a duet today. It's kind of a deep freeze here in Oklahoma right now, and
It's cold.
but it's nice. So it's Valentine's weekend. Happy Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day.
Yeah. Today we're just been talking a lot about God's goodness, and today I just want to bring some thoughts to you about just this is the quote that I want to leave with you today. Today is a good day to have a good day.
It's a great quote.
Yeah.
Who said that?
Yeah, great man, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Part of what we're going to do today is to honor, hopefully without too many tears, is to honor a wonderful man in our community that has passed away in the last week, and we celebrated his life last weekend. His name was Mr. Benham. Mr. Benham. All you Mr. Benhamites out there. He was a great man, and one of the things that was so great about him was not that he was probably known to a lot of people outside of our own community or wrote a book or was on TV or anything like that. It was that every day he made it a good day. And by being that person, he demonstrated God's love. And he made a tremendous impact in our community to the point that we had to have the celebration service in the football field in the cold because there was no facility in our town that would probably have held the amount of people that he influenced. And I think that word influence just really greatly describes that. I think, so many times we think that to impact somebody, we have to have all those accolades, all those big things. And really what it comes down to is, influencing somebody is just, and I think about a story that I want you to share actually about this when we were in high school. He was our high school teacher. This is what Mr. Benham was. He was, how do I want to say this? He influenced without condemnation.
Right.
And I think that's how he demonstrated God's love. He was always a godly influence. You knew that when you're around Mr. Benham, you better be on your best behavior. But he did it without condemnation.
Right.
And I think that's one of the impacts that he left with our community. And I just want to sit a little bit today and talk about, we get to choose if our day is good or bad, right? And you're really good about that. Regardless of the bad things or the good things that are going to happen, we get to choose that next level. We get to level up on that. And, I just want to bring this around to a little bit more tight conversation here. God created me and he created you on purpose for a purpose. Our good friend Greg and Julie Gorman say that all the time, and I love that. Yep. I'm created on purpose by God. You are created on purpose by God. What does that mean? There is a unique quality to you. There is something in you, whether it's the quirk, whatever it is, that God designed on purpose for the purpose that he created you to fulfill. And his overarching purpose for all of us is simply to demonstrate his unconditional love. And every day, today is a good day. I want to focus on that because, all 24 hours of our day, every single day, God's created us to do that. Psalms 23:6, very popular passage of scripture, but it says, that God's goodness and mercy follow us or pursue us all the days of our life. And I've talked with you about that I love that for me, it's days. It's not all of the weeks and months and years and errors. I get to focus on the days of my life. God cares about your days, and he cares about your days because he cares about what your day can do to insert good into somebody else's day. And John 10:14 says that Jesus was the good shepherd. So when we talk about Psalms 23, that the good shepherd, he leads us in those valleys. He leads us in the green pastures, and his goodness and mercy follow us, pursue us all the days of our life. So every day, inserting humanity into every interaction creates a pathway of goodness and mercy. That's one of the things that God has been dealing with me for about a month. And when we sat at Mr. Benham's celebration, and so much of that was brought back to my mind of how he exemplified that by inserting humanity into every interaction, as I give what I have that is good, I'm going to find more good than bad.
Right.
If you find yourself living in a bad place in life every single day, and every day is drudgery, every day is depressing, every day is dark, if you will begin to find that one small piece of humanity that's good of you that you can insert into somebody else's life, you're going to begin to find that good, because we find what we're looking for, don't we? We find what we're looking for.
That's that reticular activator thing kicking in. It's if you're looking for negative, you'll find negative. If you're looking for happiness, you'll find happiness. It just doesn't matter. You'll see it everywhere once you start looking for it. And that's kind of you hear people talk about that, well, I don't have the money for this and stuff. Well, you're not looking for it.
Right.
'Cause it's out there.
Or people say, I don't have a purpose, or, well, Mr. Benham was just so positive. That's just his nature. Well, probably some of that, but he was intentional about that. And that's exactly what I want to tell you guys. There's something about you that people say, well, she's just really good at that. So, use that intentionality in your life to be good to somebody else.
Yeah, all that is a seed.
Absolutely.
If you don't take and water the seed, then the seed never grows. So, yeah, it might have been a natural thing Mr. Benham had, but it was years of cultivating the ground and watering the seed that caused him to be the person he was.
I love that. What you just said, you just kind of read my thoughts here. Because again, what you said is those seeds every day, he sowed that seed, right? And he was intentional, knowing his love for God and his relationship with God just flowed out of him. And it wasn't the big things that were impactful. Sometimes it's the most noble and life-transforming things are those small acts of community, of humanity and kindness that we give out every single day that gives us the greatest return. And it's that unexpected act, this is what I wrote down, of unconditional love demonstrated out of God's love in us that begins to thread each day together until, like Mr. Benham's life, a grand and big and impactful tapestry leaves a legacy for an entire community.
Right.
And I think that is impactful. And that is what a good day will do.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's contagious.
It is contagious.
And so I know for me, I used to work at a lumber yard, and when he would come in, his attitude filled the whole area.
That's good.
So it just, you may have been having, by your choice, a bad day, but because of his attitude of a good day, it would just make your day good. So.
And what would he say every time you say, hey, Mr. Benham, what's going on? And he'd say one of two things. If you said, how you doing? He says, if I was doing any better, I couldn't stand myself. And if you didn't, he'd say, well, today's a good day to have a good day. Every single interaction you had with him, one of those two things was going to come out. So do you see what we're saying here? Do you see how he cultivated something that his mind then always was looking for good? His mind found good, and it wasn't just good for him. It wasn't just good to make him feel good. It was good for people. People were what Mr. Benham cared about.
Right.
People, period. And I love that. That was his impact, was people. And I think that is something that you've got a great story I want you to share about just a couple years ago. And it so resonates with me because so many times we get busy in our own lives, and there's nothing wrong with that. And we have good things we're doing for our family, for our community, or we're right in the middle of a project and somebody might stop by, but we're in a hurry to get rid of them because we got to finish our project. I want you to share what Mr. Benham modeled in that.
Yeah, it was shortly after Mom passed, and so we weren't. I was out just driving around, what you did.
In a small town, that's what you do.
So I just thought, well, I'm going to go down this road. I turned down this road, and he was out there working on a porch. And I was like, I'll pull over, and I hollered at him, And he come right over to the truck. And we talked for at least an hour. And he just, when he got ready to leave, or when I thought I took up enough of his time, it's probably more like it, I just told him, I said, man, I'm really sorry for taking up so much of your time. I know you had stuff to do. And he said, he goes, no, times like this are priceless. I can build a porch anytime.
Yeah. Isn't that amazing? I want to carry that in my life. I want to always think about when I will always, this will leave an impact with me. So if Mr. Benham's family is watching this, it's funny how we call him Mr. Benham even to this day.
Yeah.
But it's that impact and that legacy that not only him, but his family has left in our community. And it's just that thinking of stop and take a breath and think, you know what? I'm the worst about going to Walmart. I don't want to go to Walmart because I have an agenda and I don't want to talk to anybody when I'm in there because I need to get my grocery shopping done. Man, God has really shifted my thinking in that. And if I've ever run into you in Walmart, have not been conversational, I apologize because that's going to change. That's what we're here for. We're here to insert an act of humanity. Grant was in a place in his life where he just needed Mr. Benham, who wasn't somebody that we were close to at the time, but Mr. Benham was used by God that day to just act and demonstrate God's love for Grant in a season of time where he was grieving and it was raw. And I think that just exemplifies and models exactly what having a good day is, and that we can choose today is a good day to have a good day.
Yeah. We always label successful people as a person that drives the nicest car and lives in the biggest house. And everything that the world has to offer. But John Maxwell says that success is knowing your purpose, growing in your potential, and sowing seeds that benefit others.
I love that.
Yeah. I couldn't think of anything else that describes
I think
it
that would be the motto of Mr. Benham.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's you know, a guy that fulfilled all three of those.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I thought that was pretty amazing.
And I think even if we don't know what Mr. Benham did to reach his maximum potential, there was stuff going on that he did. Even if it was unconscious, he pursued growth. He always pursued because he was always pursuing people.
Right.
I think pursuing people is going to cause you to grow, and I think that's a really
you know, if you don't grow, you really can't handle people.
Oh, that's true. That's true. That's very true. So we love Mr. Benham, Mr. Jim Benham. He was our high school everything in a season of our marriage when, you know, here's this person and his beautiful wife, Gayla, who were just, you know, quietly in the corner, they were rooting for us and telling us, you know, it's okay. It's a good day to have a good day. It's a good thing to get married and have a kid. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. It's going to be okay. And that's just, you know, what he sowed into my life at a very young age, you know, a 17-year-old girl. And I rode his bus before that. He was my bus driver. And okay, I'm just saying these things that probably don't seem significant to you. That's exactly the point. These were things that in the world's eyes, like, okay, he was a bus driver. If you're a bus driver of a school bus, you have tremendous influence and impact on those children. Those of you in Skychick that rode Mr. Benham's bus, you know what an impact he was to us every day and how he made that 45-minute to an hour journey a lot better because of his happiness and because of his attitude and because of his fathering of us on a school bus. He exemplified that. So it's the little things that can be significant. And he definitely sowed seeds that benefited others his whole life, every single day.
Yeah, I just think of the word legacy.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Legacy. Mr. Benham left a legacy, and it lives in us.
Right.
As we choose to then model the things that he taught us very intentionally, his legacy, a legacy lives on. A legacy isn't stopped when somebody transfers where they live, okay? It goes on. Right. And I think that's something that we all want, or we should want. We should want.
You know, it really makes parenting easier when you have people outside your realm that are establishing and reinforcing your beliefs. Yeah. And for us, that's what he did for our families. Absolutely. You know. Yeah, because our kids had him in school. Right. I forgot about that. Isn't that crazy? Yeah. That's good. That's really good. So, well, we hope this has been a blessing to you today. And if you knew Mr. Benham, we thank you for right now just taking a minute to just make a side note in your heart to honor him moving forward. That if you loved him as much as we did, if you respected him and were influenced by him as much as we were by him and his family, that you will take a moment to reach out to his family and also to just have a Mr. Benham day moving forward. And as he would do right here, y'all have a good week.